Hello everyone, my name is Aubrey and today I'm doing a recent reads wrap-up type video. I think it's been a really long time since I did a wrap-up, like a proper wrap-up. I am wanting to switch to this more kind of recent reads type video. I'm just having a lot of trouble keeping up with the monthly wrap-ups. My reading can be a bit sporadic. Some months I read a lot, some months I don't read very much at all. Besides which, my filming schedule can be pretty sporadic, so sometimes I'm really just not able to film at the end of a month, and so then, it just feels kind of stressful right now. So I've seen several booktubers kind of switch to a more like recent reads type video, and I think that is just going to work much better for me. So anyway, let's just talk about all the books that I've read since my last wrap up. First off, I finally finished Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. In my last wrap up, I had read like half of this and now I finished it. I liked it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was good. I just don't love this series the way that everyone else loves it, and I wish I did. Like, I want to love it as much as everyone else. Like, I wish this had been a 5-star read. I wish that Six of Crows had been a 5-star read. I'm not totally sure what specifically keeps it from being 5 stars for me. I don't know if there was just too much hype around the series and my expectations were really high, but I don't know, there's something missing from these for me personally. But I do really like them and I love the characters. Like, I absolutely adore the characters in this duology. Like, of course they're wonderful. I think maybe the plot is just a little lackluster for both of these. I guess. I think both books have had like real pacing issues, and then sometimes like the perspectives feel very disjointed. Like when we're in someone's head, it's like they're just observing everything that's going on and we're not getting enough of like the internal reflection. Like, we get some of it, but I don't know, sometimes we would jump from one head to another and I would forget like whose head we were in, and especially when everyone was in a room together and so everyone's talking, and I would just kind of lose track of like whose perspective we were in, because it felt like they were just observing everything going on rather than like having internal reflection. I don't know. So yeah, this was good and I liked it, but 4 stars. 4 stars is good. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, I feel like it's okay to talk about this because everyone has read this book, but I'm gonna be vague just in case. But there is a character death at the end, near the end of this book, and I feel like it was really needless. Not that no one should have died or that there shouldn't have been sacrifices made or anything like that, but I just feel like the way that this person died felt very rude, to say the least. I don't know. I had problems. It felt very frustrating to me. I feel like there were several other ways that this character could have died in a much more meaningful way. I don't know. I kind of had problems with that, and I really struggled with it when I was finished. But yes, a good book that I definitely enjoyed. Next, I listened to the audiobook for The City of Brass. I enjoyed this so much. I absolutely love the writing. Like, the writing feels like just right. Like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like just right. It was not overly descriptive to the point of being poetry or like purple prose, but it wasn't, super blunt or plain. It was like just perfect. I absolutely love the characters. I love Nahari, just this whole story. So if you're not familiar with the City of Brass, we're following a woman named Nahari, and she lives in Cairo, and she wants to be a doctor. She wants to be a healer, and she has this sort of strange ability to tell if something is wrong with someone. Like, she can just look at you and tell if you have like a heart condition or just if something's gone wrong in your body. She can sort of intuitively know that. But she grew up an orphan and she has no like money to her name, and so she's had to sort of adapt to that life, and she's a thief and a con woman, and she has done what she needed to survive, and she's very clever and she's very conniving in some ways, and I just love her so much. And so one day she is doing this ritual as kind of a hoax to get people's money, and so she's doing this ritual that she thinks is fake, and she accidentally summons a Jinn warrior, and story goes from there. It's just really wonderful. I loved it so much. A lot of people mischaracterize this as YA. It's not YA, it's adult fantasy, and I think the reason maybe they mistake it for YA is because there's like a hint of a love triangle, but genuinely it's not tropey whatsoever, and I think especially if you really hate love triangles, you will be pleasantly surprised with this book and also where the series seems to be going. I will talk about that in just a bit, but yes, I absolutely loved this. The magic, just like the atmosphere of everything, politics and maneuverings, and just I loved it. So I gave this 4 stars, but like a whopping like, wow, that was really good 4 stars. If that makes any sense at all. Next, I read Across the Green Grass Fields. This is the Wayward Children, number 6 by Seanan Mcguire. And this is the one that like is supposed to be perfect for horse girls, like girls who grew up loving horses. And I was not a horse girl growing up. I was definitely not a horse girl. And I always felt really guilty about not being a horse girl because my grandfather actually owns horses and I grew up riding horses. But I was just not a horse girl. Like, I don't know if it was that being around horses, I was a lot less enamored with them. But anyway, so I went into this book not sort of expecting to love it because I wasn't a horse girl, but oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I think this one might be my second favorite so far. I still think that Down Among the Sticks and Bones is my number 1 favorite, but this was a really close second. I was really surprised by how much I liked it. I think that Seanan Mcguire really excels at these one-shot stories, the prequels. This one isn't a prequel, it's just kind of a standalone girl tumbles through a doorway and discovers a world, like we haven't met her yet previously in the series. It was just really great. I like really connected with her school days history. Basically, she kind of falls in with a group of really catty, sort of queen bee type girls. She accidentally tells one of those girls a secret that she definitely shouldn't have told them because they're not good friends, and so that kind of catapults her on her little adventure. Yeah, I mean, I think Seanan Mcguire again does such a nice job with these standalone stories, and I think she does such a nice job with like understanding the kinds of like childhoods that little girls have. So far there have been, I think, 2 prequels and this standalone story, and each time we get sort of a little glimpse into the character that we're following's childhood, their upbringing, and like that kind of thing. And each time, even though they've all been very different, I have felt so much emotion and connectedness to those childhoods. And I think Seanan Mcguire does such a nice job with that part because they've always felt very real and very believable. And then I also really loved this world that she stumbles into, and I loved like the friendships that she makes, and kind of there's like a found family element, and I just really loved it. I highly recommend this series. I am so sad that I'm out of books now, but yes, I think these are wonderful. Please give them a try if you haven't. Okay, next I read the Simon Snow trilogy. I reread Carry On, and then I read Wayward Son and Anyway the Wind Blows for the first time. I love these so much. I have a full series review. Either it's already out by the time I post this or it will be coming soon. I just adore these. I love Simon and Baz so much. They're my favorite. I love Penelope and Agatha, even though she's kind of a stick in the mud. I love Shepherd, who shows up in book 2. I love these. I love them so so much. These all get a 5-star from me. Even Wayward Son, which nobody seemed to like, but I liked because I knew that we were going to get Any Way the Wind Blows as a wrap up to the trilogy. I knew that there would be more, and I had faith that Rainbow Rowell would deliver on a satisfying ending, and I think she did. I mean, I talk about it a little bit in my full series review, but Rainbow Rowell's books don't tend to wrap up super neatly. She leaves a lot of loose ties and things for us, the readers, to kind of imagine for ourselves and decide for ourselves. It's, the series doesn't wrap up in a neat little bow, but I do think that it is a good ending, and I think if you, if you loved Carry On and you were worried to carry on, you should definitely do that. If you haven't read this series, this is a queer Harry Potter fan fiction that just has stolen my heart, and you should probably do yourself a favor and read it. Okay, and then lastly, I have been binging the Witch Hat Atelier manga series. I read volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are just delightful. I mean, they're just delightful. The artwork is gorgeous and lovely and stunning. The story is charming, but there is definitely like an undercurrent of darkness. There are so many mysteries, and I feel like the further and further we go, the more the world opens up and the more questions we have. The story just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better, and I'm just loving it so much. So yes, I think once I have finished volume 8, because 8 is coming out soon. If it hasn't come out already, I don't have it, but I have pre-ordered it, so it should be coming soon. And I'm thinking that once I've finished volume 8, I'll do like a full in-depth kind of review from 1 to 8. But yes, I love this so much. If you like manga, if you like witches, fantasy, it is 10 plus, so it's gonna have like a very middle grade feel. So if you're really only into adult fantasy, this probably won't be for you. But if you like middle grade at all, if you want to get into manga, please read this. It is so just good. It's just so good. Okay, so now I just thought I would briefly go over what I'm in the middle of reading. So I am a couple of chapters into volume 7 of Witch Hat Atelier. Again, just loving the series. This volume, we're finally getting some answers to some questions that have been, introduced in previous volumes, and it's getting so good. Like I said before, I just feel like every volume gets better and better. The artwork continues to be just immaculate. So loving this and eagerly waiting for my volume 8 to come in the mail. I am halfway through the audiobook for Kingdom of Copper and really enjoying it. It's a lot slower than City of Brass was. I'm still really liking it. It is a lot of people standing around in rooms talking about rising tensions, scheming, and plotting, whereas I feel like the City of Brass had a little bit more like adventure. We were on the run for some of it, and there were some fight scenes, and I don't know, there was just a little bit more action. I am still really enjoying this. I love, again, Nahari as the main character. I just adore her. I really like the direction that the series is going in, and I feel like it's starting to get really good. Like I said, I'm halfway through, so things are starting to pick up a little bit. I'm really loving the relationship that Nahari has with Ali. Just like their very grumpy banter is really enjoyable. So yes, I am enjoying this quite a lot and hoping to finish it soon. And then lastly, I have started A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm only a couple of chapters in, but so far so good. I really love V.E. Schwab's writing. It just is very beautiful and atmospheric and clever. Like, she's just like, a lot of her ideas and imagination is just very, very clever. So I'm enjoying that so far. Again, I'm not very far into it to really have an opinion yet, but liking it, excited to continue. So yeah, that is it for my recent reads wrap up thing. Hopefully you guys are okay with these changes that I'm making. It's just gonna work a lot better for me and my very sporadic schedule. So yes, please let me know what you have been recently reading, because I would absolutely love to know. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Yes, please like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.